Ladies and gentlemen, I have here with me today Wami by Elizaveta. That is indeed another Tarshian in Port Harcourt. We're going to meet Wami in a few seconds, but just before we meet Wami, one of the reasons why we're doing what we do with the Association of African Startups and our entrepreneurs is to sort of create that bonding and that community truly within us, such that we truly understand each other, understand what we do, and that way we can foster a relationship just not with our entrepreneurs alone, but also with the growing members within the community, so that there can be, inter-businesses and intra-businesses even within the community. So, it is indeed great to have you here today. Thank you so very much. I know I've been enjoying Port Harcourt. I went to that place, they sell that famous fish.
Oh, yeah. If you have not been there.
I know. And I had such a beautiful time just having the fish and all the things that they have there. Well, please tell me about your brand. How did you start? And what was the need that spurred you to start this fashion business?
Okay, so I got interested in sewing as early as immediately after secondary school. That's a few decades ago, and I was just honing my skills because I believed I was going into fashion, but even though I wasn't clear what was taking me there and why. And I've been making clothes since then for my friends, adults generally, but I decided to go into children's wear where I was hunting for my daughter's clothes, and I found out that I'm not a pink kind of person. I want something more, more colorful and more vibrant. So I just realized that everything she had one day was all pink. So I was like, let me look for something different, and it was either it was too flimsy, it wasn't so well done, or it wasn't just the right color. So I was like, since I've been able to make children and adults wear for years, let me try on with children's wear. So that was how I started. People admire it, a little turns to fine-tuning things, and that's basically how I started.
I love it. I love the name of your brand, Wami by Elizaveta. Tell us about the name Elizaveta. Where did you get that from?
Elizaveta is my daughter's name, given to her by aunt, my younger sister, and it means God is my oath, or consecrated to God.
Can you pause? Let's talk about that. Yesterday when I interviewed one of our other task members, I realized that even the business she started to was God who gave it to her. So it feels to me that I'm meeting a lot more people who their business is not just a business, it's a vision handed to them by God, if I was to use that. Even though Wami started by something that she just loved to do, we're going to get to that part. But I love that the name was named after something very precious, consecrated to God. Okay, we'll take that behind the scenes and finish the conversation.
Okay.
But so far, what does success mean to you as a fashion designer in this town? Considering the fact that there are lots of other, top brands, there are lots of other budding brands, and probably startups like you. What does success mean to you?
Well, to me, I just realized it's more about the people than it is about the product. That I have a passion and a desire to see women, particularly females, female tailors, hone their skills. And I think that's what I've grown expertise in, clearly, because I'm beginning to realize there are more and more challenges that I've been able to solve. Not necessarily because I was looking for how to solve a problem. I was hungry for knowledge. So I picked up a lot of skills from all sorts of places, and somehow God has made it possible, really, because I realized that the resources, the wisdom, the knowledge, everything I've been able to gather hasn't just been by coincidence.
So good.
Yeah, so that's one thing I can clearly say, and that's what has guided me on this path, and I just want to see them become better people.
So you're saying aside from the tailoring, you train them to train?
Yes, I do intentionally. Or we are small, really, but I mean, you never can tell how.
Absolutely, that's how it starts. Yes, that's how it starts.
I try to mentor and coach them.
Yeah.
To how to do their businesses more meaningfully, as well as improve themselves, seeing themselves not just as workers,
Yes.
but as individuals that can make a
This
change
is so
in the
good.
world and
This is so good.
generation, really.
This is so good. I love it. So what she's doing is equipping fashion designers, beyond being a fashion designer herself, equipping fashion designers to aspire to be better than they currently are. So simply put, she's trying to make them invest in themselves as the brand, powering the product and services. Make sense?
Yeah.
Fantastic. I love it. So what do you consider are some of your biggest aspirations for your business?
Apart from developing capacity on the technical side, I'd like to really be global, to be able to change how Africans see themselves and how they dress, to be able to appreciate what Africa is and be comfortable in it.
I love it.
To be able to see African products and be proud that it's changing the way Africans see themselves and how they are perceived.
So good. This
That's
for me
really
is a vision. You know why this gives me joy? When God told us to start the Association of African Startups, He said, raise me people who will rebuild the walls of Africa. Nehemiah 2:17. And at the time, I felt, okay, this is business. How do we make it look? Just what I'm saying. And so I struggled for a long time to truly bring the spirituality into task. It was predominantly about capacity building, business acumen. We kept going on and on, even though we've always been powered by intercession underneath, right? But by interactions, I'm beginning to see we actually have a lot more kingdom businesses inside. Perhaps that's the reason why this vision exists in the first place. So hearing you say how Africans' perspective is shaped by fashion is truly what your aspirations are. And what would a typical success story look like to you that would make you know your aspirations are valid? So what would you see tangibly that would make you say, this thing I truly desire to see about Africans is valid, I want to pursue it? For example, I'm talking to you and I'm hearing your vision. It makes me know that this vision for tax is valid. You see what I mean? Hearing you say, I want my fashion to shape how Africans see themselves, how Africans are perceived. This is why I do what I do. So seeing this, it makes me know just you're not crazy in what you're doing. So what does that look like for you? If we were to create an avatar of what success would look like as actually this vision that you carry.
Well, I'm not sure I'll be able to articulate that excellently right now, but I think it's just having people realize that there is need to see themselves differently, to be able to dress in one of our products and not believe that they are how they are seen, because what the image they had of themselves is entirely different from who they see
Just by
yes, with the brand and the people and experiencing the brand.
I love it. Thank you so very much for sharing with me. What are some of the challenges that you've experienced as an entrepreneur in this town? Let's talk about this town first. Then we now take this town to Nigeria, then Nigeria to Africa. Let's take it layer by layer so that an entrepreneur who is listening, can relate at each level. Yeah.
So part of the issues, the major challenge has been in terms of getting to the quality that we desire. Our standards are quite high, and being able to get tailors that would get it done is a problem, and people accepting to be able to pay for it. I mean, because they can't see the difference, in quotes, between what is presented and what they see on the streets. But aside, one other thing we also believe in is sustainability in terms of durable products, making choices that outlast not just the first time user, but somebody else is able to pass it on, and another child or human being feels worthy of being gifted such an item. And interestingly, it happened a few months ago. A friend of mine actually told me that she had her daughter wear her dress for so many years, And it was still so good that she passed it on to somebody else with a lot of socks and toys.
And they're made in Nigeria.
Yeah, they are made in Nigeria. You know, so for us, that was it. Just made me, even though I had not expressed that, it made me feel like, yeah, we're on the right track, because she was able to capture something I hadn't really been able to put meaning to, even though I realized
so
that had been driving us.
Yes,
yeah, so
I love it.
That's now really fun.
Oh wow, this is so beautiful to hear. So, what would you say is the next step as touching scale? Because now this is one customer who experienced your product and gave this sort of review. What does taking this to maybe 1,000 customers or families within Port Harcourt look like for you? What would you need to be able to scale at that point?
One thing is obvious, we need to, apart from equipment, we also need to improve our quality control measures in terms of people. So I realized that had been a problem, because on a smaller scale, I've been able to manage it with my tailors, but it has actually been draining me, because the scale is getting wider than I envisaged at this level. And I struggled a little because I didn't understand how to be able to put somebody to manage it, because I couldn't really articulate what I was looking for. So now I've been able to do that. So I now realize the need for introducing a quality control operational assistant kind of thing to put structure, as well as follow up with the productivity levels, and help us get data that can make us make better decisions.
Honestly, this is an interview. It's about her brand, but you have no idea what this interview is doing to me. It makes me realize that, listen, everything we do is valid. Honestly, and I'm sorry if I sound selfish now.
No, I understand really.
Because we have been doing what we do for almost 4 years, every day just throwing all we can into building, giving resources, building people, and sometimes you feel like, what are you really doing? Do you see what I'm saying? And hearing this for me makes me feel like, you are doing something. So you're saying quality control, that introduction alone can help you scale?
Yes, it can. It's we like 2 machines. We need 2 industrial machines. We use only industrial machines, and one specialized machine. But those are the basic things.
Does industrial machine help with better finishing?
We have 2 right now. It does compare to the domestic. We have 2 tailors on it, but we also need somebody to finish it up. So that extra one, having a tailor stand up for somebody else, or the other person working in free time, is not really making us efficient. So once we have one more tailor, maybe, but one finisher, standard mistake machine, it makes it easier to round everything up.
So this is a more personal question from me to you. What factories in Nigeria currently operate the kind of seamless structure that you can model and scale?
Okay, so I've studied for quite a while. Well, not really studied, but I've gone a little bit. In Port Harcourt, as far back as 2020, there was one on holiday. I can't remember the name. I think it was Xerix or something. It runs on off ordinance, and they do that. The only problem is that MOQ was quite high for us. That was really the problem. If not, we would have been able to see how we can manage the
quality.
The quality too was not so good, but I mean, we would have passed it. But there's another lady also, I think she's in Lagos. Apart from Rough and Tumble. There's somebody else that
lots of them.
But those are the 3 I've been able to study. So
I love it.
That's it.
So why I really asked this question was, beyond you getting large number of orders, like you said, MOQs, I'm saying, if you were to build a factory, would interning in any of these organizations help you understand the length and breadth?
Yeah, definitely. I believe so, because I actually haven't been opportuned to be able to. I've gone visiting, but I've not been able to study what happens. And I realized that just like the production efficiency they are struggling with, it's really about having people stationed from one task to the other. So they're only doing a specific role, which makes it the error less
minimal.
It makes it minimal. You know, so I believe it will just work everything out.
Why I'm saying this is I'm sowing a seed in your heart. So beyond being an interview, what I'm doing is trying to push you in strategic directions that will give you a leap. Because most times as entrepreneurs, when we are within our spaces, we seem to be doing okay. We get lost in the work and this is good. Until you push yourself into spaces that make you aspire to want to be the better, you never actually shift. So I want you to put this in your heart for 2025. Look for maybe 3 months. You can go 2 or 3 times a week. I don't know what works for you. Intern. Learn. In learning, what happens is there will be a new desire in you to expand. Until that desire comes, then all the resources, don't worry about resources. For now, just go and learn. Because there's a new level of development required for design thinking that will push you to the next phase. I see what you're wearing, your product, and like the finishing. I mean, I can't wait to. By the way, before I jump, so she brought me this beautiful Wami by Elizaveta. I'm going to take a picture with it. Me and her are going to take a picture. And let me attempt to unbox. If you are in Port Harcourt, I'm going to share her address and her IG page so that you too can shop. I have a very, very, very serious love for finishing. And from looking at what she's wearing, I love, look at this, it's beautiful. It's a kimono or a jacket, is it?
Yeah.
It's beautiful. Look at that. So if you are in Port Harcourt and you're looking for something seamless, something beautiful, and Wami by Elizaveta is a go-to for you and your children. I saw her page and I saw that she has really beautiful things for children. So if you do have children and you're looking for something beautiful for your children, her brand works. As we wrap up, there's a fashion designer who is probably listening to this and they have suffered attrition rates, you know, in that industry. It looks like they used to act like something is. How do you manage attrition rates, and what would you say to a tailor or a fashion designer who's listening and is burdened by the same attrition rate of this co-workers that you guys have? Elephant in the room, right?
Okay, well, from what I've learned, apart from the fact that you need to develop yourself, you know, one thing that actually is important is realizing that they are human beings with needs.
This is good.
So that's really has been what has helped me. You know, understanding that it's something the person actually is looking for while working. And trying to match it with your own business goals.
Oh, this is so good.
So sometimes,
so good.
Yeah, there are times it really doesn't work because I actually have a worker whom I just realized that I'm satisfying her need, but she's not satisfying mine. And I've made it clear I'm giving her a certain time frame.
Adjust
or get fired. You know.
This is so
but
good.
Another thing I also realized works is defining KPIs. Since then, you know, I only recently started it, and it just helped them have a better understanding of what is expected of them and what is possible and what is not possible. And it doesn't have to be something extraordinary, right? So I just defined it clearly, and what I do is, since they don't have smartphones, right, I give them the score, their general score. I've already shared with them what is expected and what score is assigned to each index, what weight is attached to each point. So that makes them understand. I gave them that paper, and I also now give them a breakdown of what they did well in the past month and where they were slow, where the challenge areas that needs working on. You know, so once you are constantly reminding yourself that what does this person need, you'll be able to look for how to manage it, you know, how to balance it out. It wouldn't be perfect really, but I mean, everybody gets burnt. But that really is it. So I also realized that sometimes it's not really about the money. Sometimes it's that point of realizing that they are human beings and they are treated as such. Because for them, many of them, is strange strange seeing somebody that actually values that you are a human being.
Yeah.
I'm treating them beyond just
as factory workers.
Yeah, factory workers.
Yes.
So that's it.
If you're listening to this interview, whether you're in the fashion industry or not, I feel like Wami has given us a masterclass pro max today, if I was allowed to use that word. She said, treat your workers or your employees as humans that they are, not as labor. And I'm saying this because in the fashion industry, it almost feels as though these guys are treated as labor. They are locked in one underground basement, morning till night. Well, I'm sorry if it looks like I'm calling you out, but it's what it is. I have seen it a lot of times. They want to be treated as humans. And I like that she puts systems to it. Show them their KPI. Explain it to them in a language they understand. Don't tell me they're not educated. It does not matter. They can understand.
I also realize, sorry to cut you short, that is an essential part.
Yes.
You know, if you give someone a gift, you have to be sure that you have to check if that person is really in that stage of wanting to, of receiving it and seeing it as a gift.
Somebody, sorry, let me just, I'm sorry. This masterclass is doing me somehow in my body. Oh my God. I'm usually not like this, I apologize.
No, really,
but she's spitting wisdom.
I have over the years given someone a gift, and in retrospect, I just realized that was not their need. You know, so it sort of changed my perspective of understanding what the person really. So you might actually be communicating something that you love the person in your own understanding, but the person is not seeing it as such. Yeah. So just like you said, communicating in a way that they can understand.
Yes.
I had to learn this. Communicating in grassroots level. Not so even if I have something in my head like a lot of grammar, I just look for how can they understand it in their own language. You know, so I keep repeating it sometimes, right? I keep enforcing it, and of course it's not just once. So you know, enforcing it. So in different ways, I'm repeating the same thing till they actually get it. So sometimes it also means I ask, do you understand what I said? What does that mean? So if you're able to give me a feedback, it helps me understand what I need to tweak or what they actually understand or what, you know. So it really, so I can be giving the person money. Meanwhile, the person, that's not what the person needs. It's something else the person
This is so good. Wow, thank you so very much. Okay, before I say what I want to say next, how has the Association of African Startups contributed to your journey of growth? And share honestly.
Okay, thank you very much for that honest question. And, you know, the first thing it did was help me understand the need to pay for my business. Because that was an essential thing I struggled with. So I had the vision of going into fashion industry since I was 16 years old. And that is wow, probably like 20 something. And so over the years I got critical and analytic about the whole vision thing and I dropped it out. And it came pressing a few years back, and I sort of didn't understand what I was doing there. So I was like confused. You know, even though I tried to get into the routine, but I realized there was nothing driving me. So I had to go back and start praying about it really and considering it. It got us started, but I then realized there was nothing else to push it forward, you know. So having them, I got into it from Immerse, and then getting, I don't know how I stumbled on the prayers, but then it compelled me to realize that there's actually need to pray for this business, obviously, and not just praying randomly, specifically what needs to be done. So it has given direction, definitely. It helped me get direction. I'm not at a place where I particularly know where else or where next, and even what I'm saying right now, it hasn't been that clear from the beginning, but it's in the process of doing that diligence of praying consistently for the business. Then secondly, the master classes and the webinars, those that I was able to meet they are quite practical, they are well
Curated.
Yes, that's the word. Because
Yes.
I find out that some of them, okay, for instance, even in spite of the number of years I've been in the production,
Yeah.
I didn't understand that I actually had a product, and what we were doing was actually passing the testing phase, of validation,
Yeah.
until the month where there was product validation.
Yeah.
So it helped me realize, so I've passed that stage.
Yeah.
Really. So what I'm doing now is actually growing it and looking for how to produce new products, how to be able to more clearly define what the customer wants. So the classes have been very helpful to be able to define a direction for my business and help me understand what is not there and needs to be there, and what needs to be worked on, and what will actually make progress in. So it has helped me assess and evaluate our stance, as well as drive the future.
I'm so happy to hear that. So if you are listening, Wami by Elizaveta is one of the beautiful brands in the Association of African Startups. 2025 is a fantastic year where we have curated, just like she said, masterclasses that will help you deal with the most pressing challenges in your business as touching our nation, our continent, so that you're not swimming in the tide. You know how to navigate with precision and accuracy. That's what we're going to be doing in 2025. If you haven't joined us yet, go to www.tasafrica.org/registration to join the membership of the Association of African Startups. For now, it is free. For now, it is completely free, right? Thank you so much, everyone, for watching. Please follow Wami by Elizaveta on Instagram. Please share with us your social media platforms so that they can follow you.
On Instagram, we are Wami by Elizaveta, Wami.by.Elizaveta, and on Facebook, we are Wami by Elizaveta.
Thank you very much. God bless you. Thank you for watching. Perhaps you are the next entrepreneur we are coming to visit in whatever nation you are in. Stay tuned.